You're listening to the Beer Craft Beer and Brewing Podcast. Tune in every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific for a dose of beer and brewing banter with your hosts, Ben Holm and Andrew Ziegler.
So hop aboard for some wit and wisdom in the Pacific Northwest, because it's always beer 30 on
The Beer Craft. Welcome to the Beer Craft, the podcast that believes learning to brew should be as much fun as drinking the beer you brewed, even if that beer tastes a little weird.
Or a lot weird. Like that one batch I brewed that smelled like hot dog water and regret. Not a two-string.
Yeah, well, we've been there. Today's episode's for anyone who's stuck in analysis paralysis. Maybe you haven't started brewing because you're afraid to mess it up. Or maybe you have brewed and it didn't go great, and now you're afraid to do it again.
Well, fear of failure, it is a real thing. It's normal. And in home brewing, it is the rite of passage.
But here's the good news. Failure in brewing isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of your next batch of awesome beer.
But before we get started with today's theme, it's time to wet our whistles in the best way we know how.
That's because the clock on the wall is stuck at
Beer
30. Andrew, how the hell are you today, sir?
Ben, it's doing great. It's a wonderful day out. It's nice outside, a little warm. It's going to be summertime. What did you bring us today?
I got some goodies. Hey, you remember, I remember a while back I went to Hawaii and I came back obsessed with mango beer.
Oh, yeah. I remember our tropical episode.
Yep. Well, I was going to brew up, I intended to brew rapidly after that and get this, get a new recipe up and running. And then plumbing, happened. It was the middle of winter here and the pipes burst. And, by the time I got around to fixing my outdoor water supply to brew a batch of beer, that had been a couple months. So this is the result of that.
This is what we get.
I've got 5 different samples of a wheat beer, and I was trying to
5 samples of a wheat beer.
A wheated mango.
5 different samples
with Bravo and Nectaron in the hot bill. I was looking for alternative mango sources. I didn't want to buy a bunch of mangoes. 10 pounds of mangoes for $4 a pound or something stupid like that in off season. And I couldn't go back to I couldn't just fly back to Hawaii and get some.
Put them in your suitcase.
Yeah.
You go to Mexico, get them in.
There's some. It's fun there too. And so I was playing around with just alternative mango sources, and I found one of these like mango nectars. It's usually in like a carton or even cans now. It's got some dextrose in there too, but no like sorbate or anything fun or anything terrible. So I thought, well, shit, let's play with it. And what I've done today, what I've brought in, is I've dosed these wheat beers in secondary with that mango and.
With different
ratios.
Different ratios.
Yeah, so we'll start out from a half a liter per 5 gallon all the way up to 3.5.
Okay.
Liter. And it's interesting, just coming off the show with Alex last week on
Brewing for Flavor.
Brewing for Flavor.
Yep.
Yeah. This ought to be
fits
pretty
right
cool.
in.
This ought to be pretty cool.
Cool.
So let's pop some tops.
Let's do it.
And then I'll let you pour. They are bottle conditioned, so we'll have to do these.
All right. I'll get them in consecutive.
Nice and even.
That's right. I'm a pro.
Yeah, we split our secondary into some buckets and started throwing some mango at it. So we're starting at the beginning. This is the half a liter of mango puree per 5 gallons. So it's interesting.
Not much. Oh, just a teeny bit in the
tiny
bottom
bit
of that
sediment
bottle.
there, yeah.
I didn't get any in here.
Good job.
Cheers. Look at that carbonation on that. It's like a mango tornado in there. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is
smelling good.
I'm still.
So this is the lightest
This
ratio.
is the lightest one. Yeah.
I can get some aroma out of that.
It's no mango cart. I don't remember which episode we drank that beer on, but Jesus Christ, I want some more now. I might have to stop. I'm gonna have to stop at the store.
Did we not drink it on the tropical? And then we tried to drink it again, and you tried to go buy it, and they wouldn't let you buy it because it was expired.
Oh yeah. That was terrible.
And that was like 2 weeks after I had bought some. So I'm like, there's no way that beer was expired.
Yeah,
Man, that carbonation level is amazing.
did all right.
Love carbonation.
Nailed that. So nothing. Been in the bottle now for over a month. Keep meaning to bring them in, but so it's got a little light mango on the nose.
Does a little bit of light flavor.
Light flavor. It's a little hard. It would be hard to evaluate if I put mango on the label and it's, kind of a fleeting
It's not
moment.
quite there.
Yeah, it's not a fleeting.
It's not quite there.
I don't like to get a beer that says, "Oh, raspberry," and you can't find the raspberries in
You're
it.
going to bring this to me, and you're going to give it to me, and you're going to tell me it has mango, and I'm going to find the mango in it. I'm going to perceive that, but you're just saying it's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
And a half liter per 5 gallons. Duh. I think that, But we got interesting results after that.
Right. I'm going to have to go get more beer glasses.
It looks like I skipped one. So here's the 1 liter version.
Uh-oh. Here, let's try that.
That one looked like it might have got a little shook up in the car. This mango stuff, it came out like thick and syrupy. Kind of like it was damn near a smoothie in that jug. So quite a bit of sediment. So do be careful on that one.
Look at the carbonation level, and that's because this is bottle conditioned.
They were bottle conditioned, yeah.
Yeah, that carbonation is bringing.
I didn't want to underfill 5 kegs and have them,
Now that sediment's
it.
probably part of that mango.
I think so. The stuff was really, really thick. It was damn near a smoothie, like I said.
Right. Now, how did you apply it? How did you put it in secondary?
Oh, we were real technical. We just measured it and poured it.
Just measured it and poured it right in.
Yeah, we divided a 5-gallon batch into 1-gallon buckets, added puree, and put the lid on them. And, they took off again. Yeah.
Okay. So you had. Wait a
You
minute.
got all the
Hold on.
carbonation
You had these already in the bottle.
No.
Okay.
No. We added mango in secondary.
In secondary.
Yeah.
Okay. And then bottle.
And that was a deliberate decision. We could divide it up. We could do this kind of bench trial dosing.
Then you added your sugar
experiment.
for the
And then,
for the bottle condition.
Yeah, bottle condition. We used carbonation tabs, and so we just bottled right out of the secondaries.
So tell a carbonation tablet.
Yeah, so it looks like a piece of rock candy, but it's dosed. It's pre-dosed and measured out for a 12-ounce bottle,
Right, for the right amount of sugar.
Right, to get you like 2.3 volumes of CO2 or something like that.
That makes it super easy.
Yeah, it's one of those for a 12, 2 for a 22. I've gotten 3 for a 32, and different results vary as far as like the gravity of the beer, how much what temperature you ferment it at.
Right.
But they do make for
one. You added. This is 1 stone.
1 stone per bottle.
1 stone carbonation.
And I did, because I didn't want to try to dissolve an ounce of dextrose into each gallon and then package from there. I just screw that. We're gonna do the drops right in the bottle. Fill the rest.
I
with
love
beer.
that. That's really cool.
It's pretty easy,
how long has that been around?
They've been out for a while. Yeah, a decade or better.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they look like rock candy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how do they taste? I'm like, sugar. Not great. I mean, there's no flavor to them. It's literally just.
Is it rock candy?
It looks like rock candy. Look, even the
right.
When you open like a box of like the old school like lemon drops, and they were kind of like fuzzy,
and
like
it's crystallized,
dusty on the outside kind of thing. That even like as they bashing against each other, they kind of like.
Yep. Create a little film.
Little dust
film. Yep.
That's on there too. So it looks exactly like old school rock candy. Yeah, but kind of stuff. And they're easy dosing. They're way more expensive, for by weight for what you get. They're about 5 times as much as dextrose.
Right.
For the same volume.
But it's 5 times less work.
It is. I do like them when I'm just going to be bottling, say, a 6-pack for a competition that I'm, going to ship away or something like that. I mean, now I have a beer gun, so I ship bottles for competitions.
Conditioned in the keg.
Yeah.
I love beer guns.
Yep, they're simple. They're
easy.
pretty slick. So this one, the 1 liter one,
not much
on the mango either. It's like almost went the other damn direction.
Yeah. Well, after we tasted the one with the 1.5 liters or whatever.
This is the 4th or 5th time I've tasted it, and the results are still kind of the.
You could never get that out of that little amount. One liter. Okay, hold on. 1 liter
of mango in a 5-gallon batch.
In a 5-gallon batch.
That's not actually. We didn't actually. So we divided the batch in 5
you did your
1 gallons.
ratios.
I did a ratio, which would have been
right.
Yeah.
For home brewing purposes, and we do everything by 5 gallons. This is how we measure shit.
This is the way. This is the way. It's still a good beer. The
Still a good beer.
I don't know. Maybe the hops are a little.
What was the base beer you
It's
used?
so we took the 6th Street wheat and I changed the hops to something a little more interesting. To reading when I looked at say Mango Cart, that beer, it had some pretty cool hops, Bravo and some really trendy looking hops. So I did something something nice for bittering. I think I did actually do Bravo, or maybe it was Apollo. I'm not sure.
Kind of a tropical
but I used
hop.
Nectaron. I used Nectaron for late edition because it's intensely tropical, and that is a possibility that the hop profiles are a little higher than the
higher than the fruit content.
Yeah, masking. We're still our hop aromas and flavors are masking our mango-ness.
Right.
Shit happens. So that's 2. So now we're jumping up to 2 liters. We're doubling again.
2 liters. Oh, doubling again.
We were unable to make it a consistent doubling ratio because I bought 3 liters of the mango nectar. So we'll have that's the 2 liter. We'll each get a 3.5, which is damn near double today. Looks like I left the 3 liter version back at the shop. They're all in a box, so it was dark. They all looked like beer.
As long as we're graduating.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the heaviest. We're gonna get the one
you'll get your own. You'll get a whole one that way.
That's the 3.5 liters.
Here, yeah.
Okay.
Good head on it again. All the beers came out good.
This is 2.
2 liters, yeah. I get nothing on the nose.
I get nothing on the nose.
You got more bubbles than I did. Just swirl.
I smell the beer. I smell the wheat beer on the nose of this one.
It smells like beer.
Weird.
Yeah. Beer flavored beer.
Because I got more out of the other one.
It's still good beer.
It's still good.
It tastes just almost exactly the same.
It does. It's not. It doesn't seem like it graduated.
Right. It didn't. I didn't get the. I kept doubling the amount, and I did not get any of it.
Right. You didn't get the doubling effect from it.
Not at all. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. Weird result.
Yeah, because I'm tasting just like the first one, basically. And the good thing is, it's not going to be it's between these beers, it's not going to be any different in the malt profile or the hop profile. So we can't blame it on hops or malts or
you got the same
specialties.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
Just the fruit.
Well, good thing we're doing short pours. We finally get a proper pour for Beer 30 today.
Yeah, short pours.
Well, that was 4 short pours. Drank quickly. We won't. I don't know. That's beer math. I'm not doing any beer math like that today.
Well, I drink most of it, and then I poured the rest in here.
Into a blendathon.
Yeah, by the end of the Beer 30, I'm going to have a nice blended mango beer.
Yeah. Have it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Pour with vigor.
What a vigor.
Yeah, I like the foam.
Oh, don't open that one yet, are you?
Well, we each get our own.
Oh, okay.
That's because I don't have the 3 liter ratio, so.
Got it. That's what you were saying.
That's what I was trying to elucidate.
I wasn't listening, Ben.
You are allowed not to, I suppose.
I'm a non-listener.
The dogs don't. My kids don't. Why should I expect any different?
All right, cheers to the 3.5.
Slightly higher
vigor.
rating.
I got some head on it.
Excuse me.
I really don't get any more aroma.
Nope. it's all got the same slight little sulfur, little sulfury edge there. And let's say the yeast on that was 1010. So I meant to look up, see if that was like, is that a heavily, SO4 producer? Or,
Right.
No.
So basically,
But it's not unpleasant tasting.
it's not bad. No.
No.
It didn't add really much. So I'm wondering where it's falling off.
Where the mango, I think it's honestly, it's the mango product I selected. It is the concentration of mango is not near enough. Compared to the rest of the ingredients on the label. It wasn't a bunch of chemical warfare in a jug or anything like that. But I think just the mango-ness. I think if I bought it, a bunch of mangoes and just chunked them into there, I think I'd get way more impact. And so I guess I have to do that again, and to see what it comes out.
And you could have to caramelize them, maybe.
I don't know.
Just cook them up a little.
I might do a batch where I do that a little bit, because that makes me hungry a little bit for sure.
Delicious.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a fun little experiment. Took way too long, way too much work, and weird results. But would do something similar again. I think I will try with a different mango regime.
Right.
As far as like making a kit out of it, it's not quite ready for prime time. The beer's fine, but getting the mango in there in a price appropriate,
pronounced
manner. At a pronounced manner at an appropriate price.
Right.
And we did talk about on that show. We talked about like Amaranthi mango flavoring, which does a fantastic job for what it is. But the price point on it is, you buy it as a kit.
Yeah.
I would be selling you one beer kit with the opportunity to make 4 different mango beers, damn near, 2 to 4 mango beers, because that's how big the bottle is.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and it's not a very big bottle. It's only an 8-ounce bottle, but your dosing rate's like 7 to 10 ounces.
So it's going to make you 40 gallons.
Depends on what you're putting it in.
40 gallons or 20 gallons?
Well, I put it into I put those products into a seltzer, so 1 ounce into 5 gallons for a seltzer.
Okay.
And that's amazing.
It was good?
It's really good.
That's the way.
In fact,
right
we
there.
did one with way too much one time, and there was definitely diminishing returns. Like, it didn't taste any more blood oranginess
right
than the 1 ounce version.
You can't force that flavor to overcome everything else.
Well, it was just water, so carbonated water and.
Oh, it wasn't alcohol either.
No, sometimes it's like because it's noon at the shop, you need something hydrating. Yeah, maybe it's not time to crack open.
And when you're drinking carbonated water,
but the water cooler is
feels
pretty
good,
epic.
like you're drinking some beer.
Yeah, our water cooler holds 45 gallons of beer, so that's a pretty good start. It's kind of hard to argue.
Right, you can't be drinking all day. Drink some seltzers.
I love
seltzers.
Not gonna get much done if you do.
No, I love seltzers.
Yeah,
I think we should make some seltzers.
I try to make 2 at a time, 2 5-gallon bags, like just keep them in rotation. So
Yeah.
one blows, because it takes a couple, like for a nice carbonation level, it takes a little bit.
What
time.
yeast are you using when you make a seltzer?
So I'm just doing literally just carbonated water. So I fill it up and I slap the gas to it.
No, I want to make alcoholic seltzers.
Oh, alcoholic seltzers?
I'm gonna use
to
some
make
dextrose,
those,
right?
so 5 pounds of dextrose, champagne yeast.
Well, champagne yeast.
Champagne yeast is nice and neutral and it's easy. You could use SO5. You could use some beer yeast, but champagne yeast is cheap.
Kvike.
Kvike, but again,
I don't have temp control.
It's champagne. They ferment out in days. Nutrient, lots of nutrient. Clarifier.
What do you throw in for your nutrients?
You need nitrogen as your big one.
Yeah.
So DAP or Ferment K, Fermax yeast nutrient.
And you're going to do that every
right in the beginning.
Okay, right in the beginning.
I'm gonna do a heavy dose right at the beginning.
Not during sometime.
It
keep
depends.
feeding it.
You have to watch out when you're adding granular to a ferment that's already been in progress. The little grains of nutrient can become sublimation sites and cause rapid expansion of gases inside your ferment, and you get an eruption, little Mount Vesuvius through your airlock.
It sounds cool.
Yeah. MEEAs, they're called mead eruption incidents. They talk about it because there's a lot of like staggered nutrient addition protocols for mead.
I think we talked about that before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a fun little topic. But lots of nutrient because sugar, dextrose doesn't have anything. It's just sugar.
Just sugar.
So get it in there. Clarifiers are going to help. Citric acid can help with some of those, but again, we have alcohol on your side. If I'm doing just a seltzer water, citric acid carries a little bit. Nice. Yeah.
Well, all right. Before we end our beer 30 here, I got a business card from this guy I ran into this weekend. Check it out.
Oh, that's a cool illustration. Kind of like a Joker with a balloon and a mohawk kind of thing. Who's this guy? Holy shit! How'd you get Maynard James Keenan's business card?
Oh, I just picked it up off the merch table.
You just picked it off the ground. Yeah, the merch table. It was.
Yeah.
It was there.
It was cool. But it's cool. It's like his business card, and they were just scattered on the merch tables.
Where were you at?
I went to see the Sesenta Volume 2 concert. Went to White River Amphitheater. Me and my daughter last Saturday night. Yeah,
nice.
And that was Pussifer and A Perfect Circle
and Primus.
Yeah, all on the same stage. Dang near playing at the same time. They all stayed on the stage together.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-story stage, and on each side it's got the stairway, and it goes up to the second level. At the top of the stairs, there's couches. There's like a couch section,
little lounge
area where when the band's not playing, that band goes up there, and when this band's not playing, that band goes up there. They constantly rotated.
So I saw that show in San Francisco
last year.
Yeah. The day after Maynard's birthday.
Yep.
We had tickets to the Arizona show on his birthday. Seen videos. It was an epic show. Did they still have the electric chair riser to the second stage? Yeah, right.
He went got on that. I'm like,
because they're old now. They're older now.
61. He needs his.
Oh man,
that was amazing concert.
Such a good show.
An amazing concert. The way they rotated through, then you can tell that they were the other band members would join in with the songs.
Yeah.
Like Maynard will sit up there in the couch. He can't sit still.
No, I don't know.
He can't sit. He can't sit still.
Yeah. I saw that. So we had I had better seats than Les Claypool's wife, who sat right behind me.
Wow.
The guy next to me was like, "Dude, are you fucking Primus fan? Because you were sitting in front of his wife." That's fucking. I'm like, so I got to do the nonchalant, like, "Oh, look at this fucking crowd. There's oh my gosh, that's right." Like look behind all sly and shit. Fan-fucking-tastic show.
Wow. How'd you get seats like that? Like in the front rows?
It's called money. You throw a lot of money at it. So we bought we sold our tickets to the Arizona show and bought the San Francisco one. And we were right at front row of the second tier. It's like one step up on the second right here. But there was an access way in front of us, so we had 6 feet to the next head behind us.
Right.
And even with them standing up on the floor seat,
blockage.
There was no blockage.
Right. That's awesome.
As long as we kept everybody out of it. Fran, which my wife did. She became a bulldog. I didn't know that was a thing.
There you go.
Little redhead. She kept the room clear. I was like, I don't know how much you paid for your seat, but I know how much I paid for mine, so get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, my youngest, she's like, Dad, let's go to Pussifer. I'm buying. I'm like, cool. Thanks. You're amazing. I can't believe it. Thank you. We're going to have a great show. She's like, all right, I'm going to get us lawn seats. I'm like, oh, no. That's not going to do. I go, okay, girl.
Not after 40.
Yeah, not after 40. I go, I'll buy us some good seats. So don't you worry. I'll get us some good seats. So I went and bought us some nice seats down in 200 section. Yeah. And we're close enough. It was so awesome. Yeah, the last show I went to at Pussifer was the year before Sesenta, when they did the black hair and the black suits and the red lipstick. Yeah, that show. I went to L.A. and saw that pretty close. That was awesome.
That's sick.
It's the only shows I go to is this guy's.
Well, they are pretty worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other one I went to prior to that one was Tool.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Crazy.
Very cool. Good show. And good beers today.
Great beers, Ben. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What good experiment.
So I think it's time we move on to tonight's topic, getting over the fear of failure.
I bet you see this a lot at the brew shop, yeah?
Yeah, I think if there's one trait that is common among home brewers, it's the ability to scare the shit out of ourselves. Fear of failure is such a human condition.
It is. But what can we do about it?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So step one, I think we have to redefine failure.
H&M, we're in. The hops, they're glowing.
Those aren't ordinary hops, Agent X. Northwest Brewer Supply sources the finest ingredients to create beers that elevate consciousness.
So that's why the IPA crowd keeps coming back.
Hoppy, hazy, or heavenly. It's not a conspiracy, it's science, and it starts at Northwest Brewer Supply.
Don't just drink beer, brew beer. Find out more at nwbrewers.com. The truth is in the brewing.
Failure doesn't mean bad beer. Bad beer is just an experiment. So those bad beers, those fuck ups, that's feedback, not a final grade.
Feedback, and
Yep.
you're going to learn from them.
Absolutely.
You're going to learn from each time.
Yeah, brewing, it's an iterative process. We are building on what we've done, what we've learned, what we've understood, and every batch gives us a little bit more of there. So it's, redefining, that's where we start redefining things.
Well, off flavors are part of this journey too. The all favorite buttered popcorn. Hello, diacetyl lesson here.
Oh, man. Yeah, they shouldn't be called off flavors. I think we should call those tuition.
Tuition.
Like, yeah.
You have to pay your dues.
This is how you're going to pay your knowledge, right?
Right.
Like, when nothing's free.
When you get the
gotta pay for
popcorn
it.
beer, you're going to learn how not to make popcorn beer.
Yeah.
Basically.
Quickly, hopefully quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, famous brewers are going to screw it up too.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, I've been to some breweries where there was a screwed up beer.
I've heard of Sierra Nevada having to drop tanks. Farmstrong Brewing had to shit can a couple of them.
Yeah.
Alex was just talking about the amount of beer he's
Thrown down. Yep.
Yeah.
A little story from long ago. I was at one of my favorite breweries when they were just a little wee lad, just a little tiny brewery in Redmond. And they're like, okay, yeah, we got a new beer on it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This place doesn't put out new beer like this, I mean, they'll be intentional about what they do, and everything is always up to par.
I deliberately do too.
Yes. And and all of a sudden, here's this weird beer on tap, and I'm like, what is this? And the server girl's, okay, here, have it, blah blah blah. And I'm over there drinking it. I'm like, hold on a minute. I go, this beer is such and such beer. I go, what happened to it? And she just stares at me. She's like, you're not supposed to know that. Yeah, you're not supposed to know that. This was that beer, and it just got hot in the fermenter. But it tasted fine. It was relabeled a different beer.
Marketing spin, man. Just rebrand that shit.
So it happens. These pros are pros. When they do something and it doesn't happen exactly how they want, they kind of juxtapose. Shift,
Pivot.
Let's just name it something
pivot,
different.
Yeah. I think so. Most of your problems in the brew house are solvable on the next rotation. So if you miss your OG today, maybe adjust your mash temp next round, or check for level on your mash tun. Maybe you had a sloping drain kind of scenario.
Yep. Maybe you had some pockets.
Did you have dough balls? Yeah, dough balls are fun. Or my brain just went on vacation. Maybe it was the beer.
Who knows? Maybe it was something that didn't go right exactly during the fermentation. But every bad, I'm not going to say bad beer. Every beer that didn't go right is not a failed beer. I mean, I've drank many
Object lesson.
The beer wasn't perfect. It wasn't just right, but it was drinkable. Not perfect. What do you call it? A table beer?
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd call it a table beer.
I wonder how much
ale.
I wonder how many beer styles in air quotes y'all can't see. I wonder how many of these styles weren't just happy accidents.
Right.
Well, that's fucking tasty. Can I do it again? And because
I
took
my notes,
maybe
I
you
can do
can.
it again. Right.
Yeah, and so I think it's important to remember, homebrewers, brewers, humans, we are not machines.
No.
We are not production lines. We are more like a mad scientist with a brew kettle, getting in there, getting messy, and making mistakes. For me, that's been the fun of it. Is I can get in there and play and tinker and try to craft this vision of a beer in my head. Sometimes it's successful. we drank today a not so successful in terms of
I think it
the
was a
vision.
success.
It was
I think
a tasty
I think
beer.
it told a good story on how
Yeah.
to add certain things at certain times.
It did the beer thing, but it didn't do the mango beer thing.
Right. These kind of stories really build the community. They stick with you, and you can go share with your buddies, share with a homebrew group.
Share your fuck ups.
Yeah, and it could be good, funny stories, and it's something that we all can learn from.
Yeah.
Always.
I like to think of that kind of that shared load experience. If you go into your brew shop, say, hey, I had a banana bomb, and everybody shakes their head, and they're not laughing at you or mocking you. They're going, yeah, man, I've been there. I've done that. Here's your T-shirt. Now you're not alone. I think it's sort of like you've lessened. You've divided your burden, your psychological burden over agonizing about this banana bomb beer is now shared amongst a community.
Right.
People go,
It's
all right,
released your
man.
burden.
Yeah. You are not alone, sir.
Yep.
That is fantastic.
Let's use it and go out and build better beer.
Yeah. So we redefined our failure condition.
Okay.
I think the next step is to focus our efforts on the learning phase, and not just
the final
pint,
like the outcome, because maybe it's not going to turn out exactly like we think.
I mean, how many things in life do?
Not
right?
many.
Yeah.
No,
I think
we can, if we do everything right, we can make beer turn out like we want. I mean, we can.
we can. We just have to do it all.
Right.
So I think brewing. I think just brewing though. I think just doing it is a success factor. Is like, let's start there. You made beer. You're already awesome. The only real failure in this, we're talking about redefining things, but I think the only real failure is not doing it.
Right.
Don't
do it in the first place.
No, there was a. You remember? There was
a
a great philosopher in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away said there is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. Fan-friggin-tastic step.
I love it. Well, you need to document everything, just so you know, because all these notes. I used to. I've said this before. I printed out a recipe sheet. When I would go and try a beer, I'm going to write my recipe sheet. I'm going to brew that day. I'm going to take the back of that recipe sheet and I'm going to write all my notes. And I'm going to start with the time I start. I'm going to on the right hand side of my sheet.
Log it.
I put my time and I said, this is what we're doing at the start. I put the mash. I put the strike water in. I started the kettle. How long did it take for my strike water to heat up? How much time do I need to plan for next time? How long did it take for me to go from my strike water to get my strike water in my mash? How long does it take for my mash to get filled and to start converting? So take these
all
notes.
of that. Yeah,
important.
There's a phrase I heard once is like, you cannot improve that which you do not measure.
Right.
So you're not logging these things. You're not paying attention. You're not doing these things. How can you
How can you improve over it?
You don't know where you were. You don't know where you've been. How do you know when even if you got better, how would you know you got there if you didn't have the data points?
And I mean, honestly, I would print that same brewery, my same recipe sheet out the next time I brewed that beer.
Yep.
And I did the exact same thing. I wrote down everything again. Then I go back and compare.
Sure.
And be like, okay, this is here, this is there. This is what I need to look out for.
Hey, the difference between science and screwing around is writing it down.
There you go.
Thank you, Adam. So I think it's also important to celebrate the small wins, the little victories, the moments that went right, and compound those rather than the setbacks or frustrations or failures. Hey,
right, when I measure my sugar and my mash is actually working on time?
Did it do the thing? I got clear wort today. Fuck yeah,
Awesome.
I'm a winner. No boil over. Awesome.
Oh,
that's
like the hardest thing to avoid.
Oh,
right
there's
there
like
is the boil over.
I think you always have to take a crap right before your beer gets.
I got time.
Yeah, I got a minute. Your partner likes your beer. High five, man! You are fucking winning. That is support, brother.
There you go.
Yeah. But I think if you add up all those, they got to count for a little bit better. Right.
They're going to make your next beer even better because you're going to be more confident. you're going to be happy about your craft.
And
it's just going to have you're going to have a great attitude
yeah,
about it.
and we should analyze those little victories as well. Like, not just the flaws.
Right. You need to understand what went right.
Yeah, just as important as what went wrong.
Yeah.
So you can repeat it because, hey, if you won today, you want to win, kind of want to win tomorrow.
Right, and that's where the growth comes from. I mean, that's how you
geez.
get better. So, you get your growth from documentation, changing up, documenting again.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're growing.
Yep. Those little tweaks here and there, switching up your yeast or your hop rotation or mash temperatures to
probably one of the most important things is document your hops. I mean, your malt bill is important.
Dug it. Read it all down. Ink is cheap.
Yeast is pretty, straightforward. But the hop bill, you can use multiple different hops in multiple different states, different times.
Yeah,
that's super important.
I think sometimes understanding that some of these things that happen at a brew day that they may not be flaws. They're not flaws really if it tastes good, right? You mentioned that little brewery rebranding a beer. I remember the first competition you and I brewed in. I tried. It was a Cascadia Dark Ale.
Yeah,
was what I was trying to make, and it didn't fucking work. And I rebranded that beer as a Hoppy American IPA, and I won. Yeah.
Because it wasn't dark.
It was dark, but no, it was too roasty. So as the CDA, it was far too roasty. It was like, man, this tastes like an ashtray, but it's hoppy and it's good. So I rebranded it as an American Stout, Hoppy American Stout.
Oh, Hoppy American Stout.
Everybody loved it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Rebranding is what it takes sometimes.
Marketing spin, baby.
It's just, I don't know. Brewing's a skill. Marketing's a skill.
It's all,
If you fuck up the brewing, you can use your marketing skills to turn it around,
Right? All skills are learnable.
That's right. We could do every aspect of this stuff.
I think it's important to understand that perfect is the enemy of progress.
Perfection
Yeah.
is the enemy.
Yeah. I think a good beer now is better than the perfect beer never. Right?
A good beer now is not as good as a good beer in 5 weeks, though.
Good is good. Better is better. Yeah.
I guess if it's not there in 5 weeks, a good beer now is better.
So
a beer in the hand.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on in our brew. Some of this, especially when you're new in this hobby, like embrace the unknown. Man, you are welcome. You are part of the show. Welcome to the club of the WTF. What the fuck happened in my beer crowd?
Are you telling me now? Are you telling me that every brew can be a gamble?
Oh shit! Yeah,
it's coin toss.
We're gonna throw it. You're gonna put your $50 on the board.
There's always a chance.
You're gonna roll those dice with your ingredients, and you're gonna see what happens.
You're gonna score.
Absolutely.
I think most of the time you're going to score.
I think so. I think
so.
I joke that you have to make 2 incorrect left turns in Albuquerque before you really fuck up a batch of beer.
Yeah.
Like, you can get by with 1 wrong turn in Albuquerque and you're fine. But if you make 2 or 3...
Well, it depends on which way you're coming. Are you coming from the east or the west?
Well, I think the cure really is don't go to Albuquerque.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Well, there ain't nothing. There ain't shit north of Albuquerque except for maybe some aliens.
Yeah. So...
I'm talking from space.
We can, at any level of this hobby or this production, this thing we call beer, I think if we can control what we can, and we can enjoy the rest of the show,
right?
Man,
well, like we're
winning.
talking about,
Yep.
like we're talking about documentation, write everything down.
Yeah.
Okay. Before that, we need to sanitize. We've talked about that on our show,
and then monitor it.
Yep.
And fucking relax.
Measure everything.
Like
sure
Charlie Papazian was like, "Hey, relax. Don't worry. Have a homebrew." Man, that was the best phrase. That's the best stuff. Your yeast has a personality. There are strains that are party animals.
Sometimes it's a bitch.
Yeah. Sometimes it ghosts you.
Sometimes it definitely goes.
Yeah. I remember the
Where'd it go?
I remember the first
It
time I
doesn't like me.
used. Yeah, I remember the first time I used yeast 1332, the Northwest Ale strain. When that yeast flocculated out, I cracked the beer was done. I cracked the lid on it to transfer it, and that shit looked like scrambled eggs, and not just like an undulating layer, but it looked like a mound of scrambled eggs
On top of the wort?
on the bottom of the fermenter, like
after
crystal clear wort, and it was just like the bottom, like what the fuck is that?
Wow. But
it
you
looks
got it all
weird.
out.
I
Crystal
did,
clear?
like and it was somebody said, hey, no, that's just what they do. They're fine.
That's just
it's
what
what they
high
do. They're
flocculating.
weird, but man, I did freak out though, so it's easier to get like overwhelmed pretty quickly on this stuff. We get it.
Right.
I get
And then
it.
if you use a highly flocculating yeast, and then let's say the next time you use a low flocculation,
it's a different animal.
it's a different animal, you're going to look at it and go, did it work? Write it down again.
Right.
Document. You need to measure it, tell me what yeast you use and
Yeah.
all that.
I think you should embrace a little curiosity in this space. Be open to those little weird results and head-scratching moments.
Right.
Again, more tuition, more understanding, more progress, more learning, more understanding, more better beer.
Don't get overwhelmed
Yeah.
over it,
Yeah.
It's a learned skill. Once you know all most of the processes.
things. You know some things.
Yeah, you know some things. We always talk about everything needed, but once you know all those little things, you're just gonna hone your skill at
Yeah.
using.
I have a pretty simple benchmark for success. If I drink one of my beers and I want to drink another one, high five.
Easy.
I win. That's it. That's it.
Yep. Why not?
Yeah. And, since we are learning, a lot of us are
drinking more of
like
this
all of us
mango.
are learning every day is to ask questions constantly. None of
Right.
us are expected to know everything. I don't know everything. You
Nobody
don't know
knows
everything. Nobody does. I think this is one of those hobbies you can get, like, you can almost get multiple PhDs and still want to go, I wonder what about that.
We all know something.
Yeah.
And together we know a lot. People do have different ways of understanding things.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Utilization of hops is,
That is a whole, we can unpack a whole theory around
Right.
that in terms of utilization and did we bag them? Did we not? At what temperature are we using? There's a lot of variability just in our hopping programs.
putting them in a bag versus dumping them in the kettle.
Yeah, so I did see some research that just suggested like there is some drop off in utilization or in
They're
aromatic
all-
potential. I can't remember if it's aromatic bitterness or
Hops
flavor.
don't like to be all crowded in a bag.
Yeah, so
They're happier.
There's things
all
we can learn every day.
swimming like a bath in your boiled kettle.
So when we're gonna, I think we're gonna take another break. It's about time we do that. Yeah, let's do that, and we're
time
gonna
for a
come back.
break.
We're gonna talk about setting some realistic expectations for your brew.
All right.
Come on
thank
back.
you.
Ten Reasons to Homebrew by Northwest Brewer Supply. Part 2.
Number 7. Making beer is a lot like having kids. Kids who don't talk back, beg for money, and beer will gladly get you wasted. Number 6. Unlimited beer supply for the apocalypse, just in case. Number 5. Finally, a legitimate reason to buy giant vats and tubes without ending up on a government watch list. Number 4. Hops are a plant, so technically, it's gardening.
Straight from the home office in Burlington, it's another Top 10 with Northwest Brewer Supply.
All right, welcome back to the Beer Craft. We are talking about getting over the fear of failure and all of the things that are holding you back in your brew house. And one of the points we brought up was setting realistic expectations. And I think we should definitely be starting simple, and we can scale from there.
Right. We don't need completely pro gear for the beginning.
No,
Right.
I think there's a large percentage. And so as a homebrew retailer for better part of a decade, I've seen a lot of people go gung-ho, spend a ton of money on the newest, shiniest, sleekest shit.
And then not know how to use it.
well,
No,
nobody
how
starts out that
how
way.
to utilize it.
Yeah. So nobody starts there. Nobody knows how to use it starting. But the number. So for the people who went, all in on the newest, shiniest, the kegerator package, the glycol chillers for their conicals, all of this stuff, the number of those systems now relegated to the fate of so many treadmills in come February,
Right.
kind of moments. They just
Laundry.
say,
laundry.
man, that's a really
laundry
expensive
ladder.
hat rack you got there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they maybe appear on the used system threads.
Right.
You know.
Well, you remember, we were talking to the guys from Kvike Yeastery, and so many of those beers, man, they're still using the same copper
equipment
kettle that their grandfather
Right.
had.
Why wouldn't you?
It's brew with what you got,
Right.
and get started.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Start with your pale ales and your IPAs are a little forgiving.
There are definitely
a lot of
styles
times.
that can help
Stouts.
masquerade your
Yeah.
shortcomings in the process, and hops can be like so much paint and trim and hide a lot of fuck ups.
They can.
Yeah. But if you I think planning your brew day on that, plan it out like a little recipe. Like mise en place applies to brewing too. Mise en place, that's a cook thing, a chef thing. Everything means everything in its place.
Everything has a home.
Everything in it. Well, even just your ingredients for the day. They're
got it. They have a
organized.
reason.
In
They have a reason to be
space.
there for my recipe.
So that all you have to do is reach out and grab them and add them to your kit.
Got it.
Your alarm's not going off.
Oh, we're organizing our brew space.
Yeah, absolutely. So when the alarm goes off for your 5-minute addition, you're not still faffing about trying to tie off the bag and get that 5-minute, that critical 5-minute
already
addition.
ready.
And oh my God, now it's a 3-minute addition. You better write it down because that could be the
Right. All 3 of my bags are sitting there ready to go at
In
the
order.
right time. So I can just
right to left, top
Right.
to bottom, whatever you want to do.
just throw it in,
Yeah.
write it down, and hope and just watch.
I'm ready to brew.
Yep.
I'm ready to brew when I do that.
Yeah.
I do that in the kitchen too. It saves my bacon so many times, and I've worked in production kitchens as well. It's better
Right.
when the mise en place is done.
We don't want to try to learn everything at once either.
Oh shit, no.
Focus on the concept of your one batch.
Yeah,
your first.
You can't
batch.
digest it all.
Right.
There's a reason we start a lot of people off in extract. We are taking it down to you're going to focus on the boil and fermentation.
Right.
today.
I can't tell you everything because your head's going to explode when I do.
Your ears are going to bleed. Your
Yep.
eyes are going to roll
I'm just gonna have
back.
to-
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
miss
have
in the metric system, and you're going to I'm going to lose you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I need to start small.
Yeah. Goddamn, and lower your pressure to perform. Your friends are not expecting medal-winning beer from you.
Your friends want beer
They
that's
just,
going
they just want beer.
to beer and get them where they
Get
need
them
to
wasted.
go.
Yeah, they know what to do with beer.
Right.
Okay.
Right. There's hardly
They've been
any
getting
beers
wasted.
that-
Some of your friends have been
my
getting
friends
wasted
won't
on the
beer-
cheapest,
won't-
shittiest beer possible. So we already know their expectations are fucking low, right? Some of those tripping the bar.
Less than
They've
knee
raised
high?
the bar so high it's a tripping hazard. Fuck.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, worst case scenario is the worst thing you can do? Learn something.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
And do it better. And worst thing that can happen is you're going to improve.
If you spent your whole day going, how can I do better next time? You're winning. That's it. That's
Winning.
it. Yeah.
And you're going to because you're going to learn.
Yeah. And while you're learning and maybe those worst case scenarios are popping up. Maybe, you had a banana IPA. It sucks. I've recognized. Man, be nice to yourself when you're doing it.
Be nice to your beer too.
God, you were allowed to mess up.
Your beer's a living thing. Talk to
Yeah.
it nicely. Tell it you want it to turn out great.
But I'm serious on this one. You are allowed to fuck it up. Period. Get in there, get messy, make mistakes, learn from that process. It all yields better beer in the future. I mean, none of us, hey, if your goal is to be the best brewer ever right now, if that's your goal, I applaud you. Here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to focus every ounce of your energy on brewing better beer. Tiger
Every
Woods
day.
Tiger Woods did not become, as good as he is, he did not become the number one for the years he was good. He did not do that
Practicing on Sundays.
That's right. He was every day at the course, 8 hours 10 hours, 12 hours a day, focused on golf. Had somebody paying his bills, somebody driving around so he could focus. So if that is where you want to, if that's your goal, that's what you need to do. For all of the rest of us, being a better brewer tomorrow is a fantastic goal.
Yep.
Embrace that.
I love it. This is the way.
That's the way. This thing we do, man, brewing takes patience. Every day your beer is going to try to teach you patience. I have been a shitty student in this department, like so many of my peers. And I'm learning every day that these things take time. They take a right amount of time. My patience is always rewarded.
Always rewarded. That's right, with yummy beer.
Yummy beer.
Good recipes. Learning something.
Yeah.
Well, treat yourself with humor, or treat your mistakes with humor. I fucked that up. Give that flawed beer a really funny name.
Oh, yeah. Like, so you got a banana IPA. What do we call it? That's, what do we call that? Black tarantula. Like, your black IPA became a banana bomb. Isomal acetate strikes again. So, yeah, that's the black tarantula IPA, right? That banana, I don't know. Fuck, man. Like, just do something dumb.
Who knows? Yeah, just say something. Yeah. It'll come off your tongue,
Yeah.
Just maybe, write a couple things down and see what fits.
So, yeah, you got to forgive those early mistakes, too. Like, forgive your first free batches. They're not bad. Man, that's bravery. Right? Bravery is not the absence of fear.
Badge of honor.
Bravery is being afraid and doing it anyways. You fucking did it.
And get through it.
You did it.
Drink it and get on with it and make another, because you're going to drink it again and again. I love it. You'll look back at yourself one day and you'll be impressed with yourself. I mean, you're going to improve. You do all these things, you employ all these things, you're going to improve. So
shit. Yeah.
keep that in mind.
God.
Don't
doubt.
worry about what you're going to do now, because you're learning. You're going to do everything.
All those incremental changes along the way, like, it's hard to tell today what that looks like.
Right. But it's going to make your improvements every
again,
step
if we
of the
measure
way.
what we're doing constantly, we can see those incremental changes over time. But yeah, they are going to add up in a heartbeat. I think comparison is the thief of joy in brewing too. So do not measure yourself against the pros. These guys have, the new. They got a whole different animal they're dealing with. Some of them even have like their own production labs. They're cultivating their own yeast, doing full cell counting and propagation, and they're nailing every variable that you and I as weekend warriors,
we don't pay attention.
Not gonna have that. Like, I'm gonna pitch yeast, 3:00 on a Sunday, and I'm probably not gonna touch it again till 5 p.m. on a Wednesday when I get back home. A lot can happen in that first 72 hours.
Yep. And it's not our livelihood; it's our hobby. Yeah. It's our passion. Don't mock your own beer either. Don't badmouth. If you do something, I mean, I've felt myself in that scenario. Once in a while, it's like you got this beer, you're like, yeah, it's a shitty beer that I made, blah blah blah, kind of harping on yourself. Don't do that. Lift yourself up in your learning curve. You're gonna do better.
I struggle with this one myself. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! This whatever you made," and I go, "Oh, I fucked this up, this up, this, and this up." Like,
don't
no,
tell
they're
anybody.
like telling you like it tastes fucking amazing.
Right.
Just get out of the way. Let the compliment. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy that bit. Yeah.
Share it
Don't
and
fuck it up.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't share it and give expectations.
For sure.
Just share it and let others, tell you. You're going to enjoy it.
So if you're feeling afraid, you're feeling anxious, you're uncertain about what to do about this beer, about this, hobby, about this process, anything like that, it's time to find your brewing support system.
All right.
Right? This is where you got to seek professional help some days.
Is this Beers Anonymous?
Beer Anonymous. Yeah, that's a different animal.
Well, I mean,
find your local homebrew club.
Right. Your homebrew shop. They will have a a route to the local homebrew club.
If you live in a municipality, if you live in a municipality that no longer has a local homebrew shop, Facebook groups, some of these Reddit pages, some of these places, like find
make one.
your people.
Go make one.
Definitely.
If there's
go
not one in
your
your town, do it.
Be that.
Why not?
Be the change you want to see, man.
Yep. Follow the brewers who share their fails too. So on your social medias or
they're not all they
talk to anybody, but
they can't all be trophy beers. They're not all gold medal beers.
Everybody else is not making the best beer every time. They're not going to tell you either. They're not going to tell you that. They might if you're good friends and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for like sometimes they're not going to be like, well, I fucked 3 beers up to make this good one. Taste this.
There you go.
Like,
it's the blend of 3 fucked up ones.
Right.
It's better than some of its parts.
Oh, this guy's amazing. He never makes fucked up beer, and then all of a sudden you find out. Yeah.
So you found a meeting. You're getting the support you need. Bring those questionable beers, those weird ones, to the meeting.
Yeah.
In my homebrew club, man, we love troubleshooting. We just finished the off-flavor tasting panel. Like, this is everything that can go wrong in a beer, and we make it happen. We dose a beer to give us a sensory example of flavors and aromas and taste, all those things. We've done this for the 3rd time as an organization.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
we're still like learning stuff. We're
so
still
when you
like,
bring your beer in, there's people that are probably going to be able to help you out.
Absolutely.
And kind of like detective the whatever's wrong, whatever's going on with your beer. And it doesn't have to necessarily even be a flaw. Let's say I made a beer and I made an IPA. Well, okay, a week later, now I've got a golden ale in my bottle. And I'm like, what the heck happened? Bring that beer in and explain. I made an IPA. I used this and this and this, and this is my process. Maybe you'll be able to nail down why your beer turned into something different.
You'll at least have a better a place to look for that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And when in doubt, God, brew with a buddy. Mess up together and laugh more while you're doing it. Jesus.
Hell,
it's his fault. Like, go get yourself a scapegoat, man.
Every time I brew with friends, it's the best time. It's the best time. I always love brewing with friends. I mean, I brewed, I'm a mad scientist. I'll be down in my den, making my boil and doing everything. But it's wonderful when you're with friends.
It is good stuff. It is good stuff. There you have it. A blueprint to walk boldly into the brew house. So that's it for this episode of The Beer Craft. Failure, it's just fermentation's way of teaching you something new.
So remember, every weird batch, every missed target, what was that flavor? That moment gets you one step closer to making some great beer.
So keep showing up, keep brewing, don't sweat the small stuff or the cloudy beers.
And next time, we'll have more to say and more beer to drink.
Until then, take notes, have fun, trust your yeast.
This has been the Beer Craft Podcast. Stay curious.
And if your airlock's not bubbling, it's probably fine.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.